I think JKD in general, the highlight, I guess, of my whole life, what's followed me is the education, is
Mhm.
the people that been involved that I've surrounded myself with that have been brilliant. The people like Dennis, and he mentioned Bert Poe, and a dear friend of mine, Sonny. These were two individuals that I think probably shaped my young adulthood. Um, Dennis remembers many of home meetings and just home visits we had with Sonny, going over to his home, and one of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my whole life. I don't think the man finished high school, but he had a brain of a PhD in many, many, many fields, and Dennis will attest to it. I mean, it's a great story about Sonny. Two examples: the intelligence. We're at his house, and this is 1987. I know it real well, the date for sure. It was 1987. I had just started working at Northrop at that time, out in Pico Rivera, California, kind of in the aerospace engineering thing. So when I got out of the Air Force in '86, I started working for Northrop in '87. I already knew Sonny, knew Bert, and we're over at Sonny's house, and Dennis and I, Sonny would get in these high level engineering intellect talks, and Dennis remembers them well. He was brilliant. I mean, I think he worked on Looking Glass early on, the first 747, the air vehicle that diagnosed nuclear launches from over the horizon stuff. Uh, Sonny was involved with that program. So here I am, just started working at Northrop at the super secret B2 program where no one knew about just yet. Highly classified program, highly classified. No one knew anything about this program. And I'm sitting there at Sonny's house, told him I'm working at Northrop Pico Rivera. He goes, "Oh, working on a new bomber program, I take it." And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, I can go to jail even talking about this program. And this guy knows all about it. He's talking with me about it. Who is this guy, right? Just started getting to know him. So he's talking to me about low observable materials and stealth materials, where highly closed material stuff that no one knew about, but Sonny knew about it. He was brilliant. Carried a conversation with me. Of course, I confirmed and denied nothing or anything with him at the time, but it just shows the intellect. And the second aspect about how bright Sonny was, that was such a great influence on me. We're at my wedding, and Bert is there, Sonny is there, and my father-in-law at the time was a PhD, MD in protein sequencing, right? Just big medical guy, chief scientist, uh, two PhDs, couple masters, plus his MD. And Sonny strikes up a conversation, I guess, with my former father-in-law at the time. So I remember toward the end of the wedding, my father-in-law comes up to me and said, "Hey, I met your friend Sonny. I didn't know he was in the medical field." And I chuckled and I said, "He isn't." And he says, "Well, what do you mean he isn't?" He goes, "Well, he just got done carrying on a conversation with me for the last 15, 20 minutes on protein sequencing, bouncing ideas off of me." And I just chuckled.
Sonny grew
UDT.
up wrestling alligators, believe it or not, down
Oh,
at
jeez.
it's weird because yeah, he told me the story. He and some of his friends actually snuck into, I don't know if it was Knott's Berry Farm or something, because there was a time where they had alligators, and
Oh
he
my
and some of his
goodness.
friends would dare each other, and they would go in there and wrestle alligators. But
Oh
anyway,
my.
um, he ended up joining the Navy, and let's see, at the time he joined the Navy, the the quote unquote SEALs were just given the title of SEALs. Before that, they were just they were Frogmen and UDT.
UDT, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the stories I remember primarily are there's a gentleman named Dick Rice who is Sonny's biggest influence as a Navy SEAL. Um, was the guy who actually went on to can't remember which ship it was in World War II, and he took Admiral Yamamoto's wakizashi, his sword, and at
Wow.
one point he offered it to Sonny, but Sonny didn't take it. But anyway, so Sonny was a Navy SEAL. He did a couple of tours in Vietnam. Uh, and then, of course, he had all his adventures after that. Another thing that Sonny had done was he was also a fleet boxing champion.
Oh wow.
Um,
Yeah, they're
let's see, what
amazing.
was the other thing that he did? Oh, And
And
most people
marksman.
don't realize his influence. Um, he used to hang around, I don't know, you guys might be too young. Vic might remember Parnelli Jones.
Yeah, of course.
Hmm.
He he and Sonny used to hang around all the time, and that's where Sonny got interested in off-road vehicles, motorcycles, biking, dirt bikes, and all that kind of stuff. So Sonny actually had an influence on the SU-20, I think it was SU-22 carburation system for the Datsun 240Z back in the 70s.
Oh
Yep.
wow.
He helped to develop that. And there were a couple of other things that he did, which is why I remember going to his house at very early time when I first met him, and his car was full of all these bodies of Z cars. I'm like, why do you have all
I
these?
remember.
And he was trying to tell me you should get a Z car, which I ended up doing. But anyway, so I ended up getting a 240, and he was telling me the reasons why. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So he had that influence, and he had a lot of I'm not sure how he did it, but he had a lot of connection with NASA. In fact, there was a gentleman who was a former not good guy of World War II scientist who was brought over after the war, like NASA brought over many people that we are finding out that were in the space program. And this guy actually lived out in Victorville, and you would never know it. But Sonny took me over his house one day. He's like, I'm going to go visit somebody real quick. I got to check something out. So Sonny was working on, I can't remember what it was. It was a part for NASA. And I mean, it was a little acrylic part, probably about yay big, and it had to be drilled precisely in such a way. He said, "This is the only guy in the world that can do this." So we go out to this guy, and he's got like a nice ranch type house, this really long driveway with a big steel construction building that was um, a workshop, and he had
Mm.
all these tools, and it was just like, I mean, absolutely sanitary. I mean, it was hospital sanitary when you walked in there. And the guy
Clean
standing there
room.
over a machine when I saw him, cowboy boots, jeans, flannel shirt, and Sonny introduced me to him, and that guy had a German accent.
Mm.
And I'm just like, oh shoot, I know exactly who this guy is. But anyway, this guy did something, was showing me stuff. And they started talking on a level of engineering that I didn't know, even though, for those who don't remember, I do have a degree both in electronics engineering and some mechanical engineering. And I was still kind of like, wow, okay. But yeah, so Sonny done a lot of stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
brilliant. They are both just absolutely
yeah.
brilliant people. Brilliant academia wise, brilliant about life, brilliant. And you never knew both guys were just geniuses at what they